Start here. It's the second day of Sergeant Patrick Mthethwa's testimony in the Meyiwa Murder Trial. Yesterday, Mthethwa said tongues wagging. He told the court how the crime scene looked like nothing happened when he first arrived at the Vosloorus home where the soccer star was shot and killed. Our reporter Silindelo Masikane is monitoring court proceedings for us. She's standing by in the North Gauteng High Court. Slee, quite a long 2 days, I assume, for this sergeant. So far, he's been told basically by Mshololo that he was incompetent to deal with that crime scene.
Yeah, incompetent has certainly been one of those words that has been used in terms of describing Sergeant Mthethwa and his counterpart. At the time of Meyiwa's death, they were constables, which really are junior officers in the police service. And the defense has really been trying to show that what they did initially in terms of arriving at the scene and not securing it immediately left the scene exposed. And in fact, what we have heard from witness statements now that have been read from some of those who were there on that night is that there were neighbors who actually had entered the crime scene. It looks like they mopped it up and they cleaned out beer cans. One of the phrases used in the statement was that they did not want the police to see what had happened there. But the cross-examination from the lawyer of accused 124 also wrapped up this morning. One of the last questions was around blood at the crime scene. It seems that there was no blood that was noticed on the floor, but blood splatters on the wall. Let's take a listen.
Salibona kahle sesibuye kwesithuku ukuthi likhona but akusigazi ukuthi uthiwa nje dots nje egazi ayekho.
With regards to the blood, we saw the blood when we came back for the second time, and it was not to say that it was blood, but some just spots of blood here and there.
Where did you see the blood?
Dining room, between dining room and the kitchen.
Between the dining room and the kitchen.
Yes. Where in the dining room?
Dining room.
Pants.
On the floor.
And Slee, of course, there was also the question on, what happened during that hour when they were in hospital trying to find the people who were on the scene. Tell us more about that when they, saw Kelly Khumalo coming out of the hospital while they were coming in.
So what we understand is that they initially arrived at the crime scene and they found Temba, who said he was the uncle, and he said that those who were in the house and knew what happened were actually at the hospital. That's when they proceeded to the hospital, and they said that someone in a vehicle that was a BMW rolled up the windows as they were driving in, asking them, hey, have you been past Nomzamo where the shooting happened? They said, yes, we're here to find those who were in the house to give us more details. And Sergeant Mthethwa, who is Mthethwa's colleague, then told Mthethwa that's actually Kelly Khumalo, Senzo Meyiwa's, the mother of Senzo Meyiwa's child. And when they then proceeded back, of course, we know that they went back to the home with Gladness Khumalo. But what was interesting that came out of cross-examination was also the fact that Mthethwa had initially said that it was just he and his colleague Sergeant Mthethwa who attended to the crime scene first, but it's been revealed that there were actually two other student officers, we understand, who were with them on that evening, which also brings into question why then they left the crime scene unattended if they could have possibly left officers in charge of the crime scene to secure it. And this was Mthethwa's response.
Yesterday you said you were two. Now we're rectifying that it was not the two officers who attended the crime scene with you, but it was four. Yes or no?
Kodwa ke manje sesiyathola ke ukuthi nani u4 yebo noma cha.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And further to that, you said you had to leave the house because according to you, it's not the crime scene. You had to leave the house and go to the police station. Am I correct? Sorry, not police station, but the clinic or hospital. Hospital, yes, hospital.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And all these 4 police officers, they've made the statements, including yourself, and you say you received a complaint of a shooting in progress, and then you rushed to the scene. Am I correct?
Omaneke lamaphoyisa ke nawe futhi ke nithi kwitatimende zenu enibhalileke ukuthi sathola ke sathola ke umbiko ukuthi kune shooting in progress sahamba saya khona kwisini kunjalo.
Yebo kunjalo.
That is correct.
If a complaint says there is a shooting in progress, is that not an offense committed? Shooting.
Uma ngabe ke i-complaint lena enitholile ithi ke kune shooting in progress, ingabe lokho akusiyona crime leyo ukuthi nje kuye kwadutshulwa khona lapho?
Crime.
It is.
All right, Sli, so it's quite clear that the defense of all 5 accused is that the crime scene was poorly handled by police in the first place. And then there was this letter, or rather the statement that Mshololo read out in court by one of the neighbors. Tell us more about that.
It's one of 2 statements from the neighbors who corroborate each other's story to say that while the crime scene was left unattended by the police officers, neighbors proceeded to go inside and clean the crime scene essentially. And so what Advocate Mshololo has now been basically trying to show is to say that just from the very beginning, the police who were handling this matter were just not skilled enough at the time, and that has obviously left the crime scene exposed. And already at investigations level, the crime scene was just not handled properly. Let's take a listen.
After having heard that shots had been fired or a shooting had taken place in that house or in that place, did it not ring into your mind that that surely was then a crime scene as a result of that?
Kwaba khona lokho okwasho emqondweni wami ukuthi i-crime scene, kodwa ngenxa yokuthi angitholanga umuntu ozongikhomba ukuthi kuphi kwenzakaleni kuphi ephakathi egcekeni noma endlini, kwakungekho ukuthi ngizothi i-crime scene iyona yipi.
Yes, it rang in my mind that it was a crime scene, but because of the fact that there was no one who gave me information as to what had exactly happened, whether it happened inside the yard or in the yard or inside the house.
All right, Silindelo Masikane live for us in Pretoria. Let's leave it there for now.